Hi everybody, this is an attempted lesson at Nico's these days. You'll be in standard tuning with the capo on the 5th fret, and so for purposes of reference, I'll still refer to this as low E, A, D, G, E, and high E, even if all the notes have actually been moved up 5 frets, but relative to one another, that's what they are. And I'll just refer to chord formations as usual, because those are also relative. So I like to begin sometimes with an intro that runs through the main chord formations that later get separated out into finger picking. And those are, hopefully you can see the fingering, C/B, so only these two fingers, and then A minor 7th, and a really open, barely a G chord with the finger down on the 3rd fret of the low E, and then an F chord in strange fingering, because that's the way you can manage the finger picking. I hope you can see it. If you can't see where my middle finger is, it's on the 1st fret of the B string. Okay, so okay, on to finger picking. In the C chord, you will play not the very outer E strings, but the ones immediately inside from that. So the A and the B strings. And then play the inner strings, going from D to G. I'll just call those the inner strings from now on, because they are the innermost strings. So, and at this point you take your fingers off. They won't fly off like this, but only your index finger will be down for a moment. Okay, so, and then you will play the A string and hammer on your middle finger to the 2nd fret and play the inner strings, and then play the A and B strings again. Then get your fingers into the A minor 7th chord, so your middle and ring finger on the 2nd fret of the G and D inner strings. Okay, so hammer on, all fingers off, A minor 7th, and then here you go to the G, which is really the 3rd fret on the low E string, and then play the middle strings, and then get to that F fingering, and then play the E and the G together, then the D and the B together, then just the low E string, inner strings, low E string, inner strings, and then the outer E strings. It's probably better if I just stop talking and try to show you what that is, so I'll do it very slowly. And then here you'll return to the C chord, but separate everything out more, so you won't play the A and the B together. You won't do this. You'll go, and here instead of just the hammer on onto the A string, you'll also play the B string, which has your index finger down. So instead of, you'll actually go, okay, so, and then separate those strings again, and you're in A minor form, and then back to the F. And then we're still in the intro, by the way. You get to the C. And now this is just the worst part. I don't know why, But what happens is at some point or right away, you need to get your pinky. So you're in the C chord, but you have to get your pinky where your ring finger was, so you can put your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string, so you can put a bass to it. So see what I mean? So you have to make sure that the fatty part of your palm is not touching anything, so you don't get that tinny sound that just happened. So and then you hit the 2 outer, inner, outer, inner. And then you'll basically do what was just learned through the verse. So here, you'll do something different. You'll put your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A and hit the A string with the B string, and then the inner strings, and then put your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string, and then hit the high E, then the inner notes. And I'll just do it for a while so you can see. So that's the part when you're like, these days. Then back to the F chord. Which you did learn before. And then so this is like what would be a C chord minus the index finger. And a G chord minus everything else, just the E string and the A string with fingers on it. And then put a hammer on to the D string onto the 2nd fret. And then lift off all your fingers except for the ring finger, and then hammer on to the 2nd fret of the A string. So basic. And then back to the home chord C. Least favorite part, my least favorite part, the C chord with the bass. And you literally do that again for the 2nd verse. The rest of this is when you say, please don't confront me with my failures. I have not forgotten them. You just separate them out. You're gonna do like the C chord, but I like to add a 3rd fret onto the high E with my pinky, like that. So I can only hope that was helpful. And if you noticed, I messed up several times with the patterning. all I can say is you really have to listen to the song over and over and not be overwhelmed by the finger picking. And at some point, you just hit this moment where it all comes together, and then you can learn the depressing words and try your best at putting it all together. So I'd love to hear your comments below, or read your comments below, as long as it's not about me looking like a sweaty man with this new haircut, because it's a hot summer night and I tried my best. I'd be happy to try again. So thank you and good luck.